Hello and welcome to Making Remote Work. My name is Jordan Loftus, and today I'm so excited to be joined by Jenifer Wiley, Principal Designer at Wiley Designs, and then Angela Morgenthau, who is an admin assistant with her and probably so many other hats that we're going to find out today. Appreciate you both being on today.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and Jenifer, I'd love to start with you. Your world of interior design is so fascinating. What does it look like day to day?
Okay, so I have been doing this for 20 years. For some reason, I decided when I was 17, I wanted to own an interior design firm, and I made it happen about 15 years later. My day is not as glamorous as you would think it is. The big reveals are always amazing, but our day-to-day is very busy. And we wear lots of hats. We have to go from job sites to showrooms to new client meetings. So there is a lot of detail. Yes, Angela's shaking her head. So there's a lot of detail, which is what got me to where I am now with needing some help.
So Angela, maybe you can comment a little bit about that. So you're an amazingly organized detail wrangler kind of person.
So that's one of the reasons I think me and Jenifer are such a good match. I am very OCD, organized, detailed, admin oriented, and she is just this creative mind that I wish I had half an ounce of her creativity. Then I get to handle all those details too, to make sure those visions she has to come to fruition with all the stuff that happens on the back end of it.
For both of you, I'd love to hear like how long have you two been working together, and how has the working relationship evolved? Has your role expanded? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I started with Jenifer over a year ago. It's been almost probably a year and a half. And yeah, as originally at the beginning, I was just learning the basics, learning those basic admin tasks she needed me to handle. And as time progressed, she began to trust me more. She knew that I was willing and, invested in her business success as well. And so she trusted me to do more and more tasks. And I love the challenge. I think we went from 30 hours a month to 50 hours a month that we are doing now because of the volume of work that's come in.
Jenifer, did you have any anxieties over bringing anyone in to help, or was it just like you were so swamped you knew like I gotta have someone, or where was your head at when you decided to make a hire?
All of the above. I was so overwhelmed, and I was losing the help that I had at the time. And I'd been working with a business coach. I'm kind of panicking saying, what am I going to do? And my coach says, you're going to hire a VA. So I finally just buckled and said, okay. And it really was very easy. It was a lot easier than I thought. I actually called boldly and said, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never hired a VA before, but I would like to have somebody that is better than I am at all the back end office stuff, because I think I'm actually pretty good. I'm not your typical, super creative type. I'm very organized, but there's just not enough hours in the day to handle it all. So once I signed on, it was an immediate change, and then transitioning into Angela was just like butter. It was so easy because they are so skilled at what they're doing already, and they know how to read you, and they know how to pick up the tasks that you're handing. And it was a game changer for me. I have continued to grow my business since I've had help, and I continue to get better at what we're doing and we look more professional all along the way. I'm a very small firm, but Angela actually handles all of my preliminary clients. She takes all of those phone calls, so they're not talking to me first. They're talking to my administrative assistant. She's fielding them. She's asking them all of the questions to determine whether they might be a good fit. And we talk about it. If we think they're a good fit, then she'll book us an appointment.
So Angela, you're taking sales calls.
Wear a lot of hats, but it's wonderful because every day is different. It's not monotonous in any way, shape, or form. There's something new every day. And so, yeah, I get to talk to the clients initially and kind of give Jenifer the synopsis of what they need, what they're looking for, and if we're that good fit for her, and timing and everything else that goes along with her business to make sure that it's something we can accomplish and it's something we are fitting with the client with, so that we're not extending them past their comfort zone either.
I'm going to interject real quick. That was actually really weird for me to hand off because I've always talked to and fielded my own clients. And that's a little bit scary, but oh my God, I'll never go back, you know? And honestly, every time I meet a potential client, it's kind of weird because I don't have any rapport with them yet. But every single one of them compliments Angela. And I've had a couple of them say that the reason they decided to meet with me was because of Angela. So she is just such a blessing.
Actually, that's extremely unique. And yeah, Angela, you sound amazing, but I like, how did you come to that decision though? Because that does seem like it's a very big decision. So how did you come to that? Yeah.
You know, part of it was through the coaching and a lot of it was just out of necessity. I am so busy during the day and I don't you're never going to see me sitting here very often. It's actually a lot more professional to have Angela go ahead and call them back, get some preliminary information and figure out, you know, sometimes I do still need to have another phone call with them before we meet. Most of the time we just meet, you know, at that point. It's a lot more professional having her doing that than having somebody wait on me 2 and 3 days and playing phone tag for 4 days before we actually can get a hold of each other.
That makes total sense. Angela, when you jumped into that role, was that the first time you'd ever started kind of fielding calls like that? Or was that something you'd already done and you were like, oh yeah, I do this all the time?
You know, through my professional life, I've had to talk to a lot of different people from a lot of different places with a lot of different backgrounds, and that comes from being a military spouse as well. So I felt completely comfortable talking to anyone that could call. But fortunately, we went through together and set up this template to ask them, you know, these basic questions that I knew to ask, but then also some more in-depth design questions that Jenifer would need to know before she went, so that we were both prepared with the correct information for the client.
You know, especially in my field, everybody wants to know how much. So they want to know what my fees are. They want to know what a typical project's going to cost. So Angela has some of those parameters. And then, you know, sometimes that's an immediate no, it's not going to work out. And that's fine. I didn't waste my time tracking somebody down, and she did that already.
Now, last year, the world changed just a bit, especially when you're talking about something in person. How did the nature of your business change, and how did your remote working situation help that?
Yeah, the downtime really gave us the opportunity to review some of our processes and kind of weed out some back-end admin things that maybe we hadn't attended to since Jenifer had been so busy constantly. Like I tell her she wears skates because she's gone and gone from place to place all the time. So I think it gave us that good month to really get a grasp on things, to see what we needed to do, what we needed to better in our processes. And then, like she said, from there, I think people got so tired of seeing their walls that they decided it was time to change how their house looked. So it really has been wonderful for her business.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to bring it in for the landing. I always like to ask for your expertise since you've been working remotely together. And Angela, let's start with you. What's your best advice for an executive and remote teams to work together as efficiently as you two do?
I think the biggest thing, obviously, is communication. I think that Jenifer and I have done so well, one, because, you know, we feel comfortable reaching out to each other. I feel comfortable with her. You know, if I have an idea, I feel comfortable letting her know that I have an idea or how to better something, and she's open to that. So that communication is really helpful. And the fact that we have a dedicated time set aside every week so that we can go through every project so we know where we stand and what we need, I think that has been crucial in keeping everything flowing and absolutely key to keeping everything on track.
How about you, Jenifer? What's your best advice?
Well, she already said it all. You have to be organized. The minute you start hiring people, you realize that, because you can't keep it all in your head. You've got to get it out where everybody else sees it. You have to assign responsibility. And as a business owner, you have to be willing to trust that your staff is there to help you. You know, you have to be willing to let go of control of some of these things and understand that there are people out there that do it better than you. And will help elevate your business. So, and that's what I wanted. And that's exactly what I've gotten. And we just continue to grow, and it's amazing.
Well, Jenifer, Angela, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing with us. This was so fun.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.